Welcome to the Cleveland Bros Draft Recap for the Pokemon Premier League Division 1 Season 5. After 3 seasons down in Division 2, we clawed and battled our ways up with a little bit of a technicality into Division 1. But nevertheless, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to play some of the best competition in all of draft format, and I'm real excited for the season to get started. Before I tell you my team, I just want to say if you have any questions of how the league's running, what we're doing, yada yada yada, that's over on the PPL YouTube channel. My team would not be possible if it wasn't for the help of my boy Bill Standish, without the amazing Chi, who's in D2, and I had a couple conversations with Kelly, who's also a D1 member, so thank you to those people who helped me make this team. So, without further ado, I was the 5th pick in the draft. I have no problem being 5th pick. I don't really have a problem with any spot in a draft. I know a lot of people like to have the wheel picks or whatnot. I don't give two shits. So, going into the draft, I had no plans made. Nothing. Usually I spend weeks and weeks and weeks filling out, mock teams and whatnot, but with everything that was being voted on getting banned and what would be allowed, what wouldn't be allowed, I decided to just go with the flow and see what I like to do, and I think that really helps with my team. Like I said, I had no plans going in, but there were a couple months that I wanted to try, one of which included my first overall pick, and that was Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko cost me 16 points. Now, why did I draft Tapu Koko with the 5th pick? Is it the 5th best mon in draft format? No, absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't think anybody will agree with that. In fact, some people will say it's not even the 5th best electric type. And I want to see if that's true. That's the main reason I drafted it. I want to see, is it better than Thundurus? Is it better than Zapdos? Is it better than fucking Jolteon? So, I picked Tapu Koko. It's a big thing. I wanted something that can switch into dragon types attacks. So getting a fairy round 1, that was cool. It also has base 130 speed, so you know what? Slap Electro Ball on that. I'm faster than what you have. Electro Ball is going to do some damage. It also has some really cool coverage in the forms of Steel Wing, Acrobatics, and Nature Power. If I'm up against like Tapu Fini, and he switches in, I can then have Moonblast instead of having Dazzling Gleam. Freaking Tapu Bulu, I get Energy Ball, something that I wouldn't have before. I mean, Grass Knot, but how cool is that? It has base 110 attack, base 95 special attack, so it's not the strongest attacker, but it also has a lot of utility in the forms of Reflect and Night Screen. It gives me Taunt. And you want to set up on me? I'll use Psych Up. I know a lot of people like, Tapu Fini because the misty terrain means you can't status it. Well, Tapu Koko gets Safeguard, so just as good as the misty terrain, if not better. Tapu Koko was a solid utility mon. My next pick, I wanted something that could utilize the utility, utilize the screens, utilize, a little bit of the weakening of the teams, and that would be a nice setup sweeper. And what's a good setup sweeper that goes with Tapu Koko? No, not Mega Scizor, but in fact, Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is a fantastic setup sweeper. It has Swords Dance to boost that very strong physical attack with great coverage moves like Poison Jab and Knock Off and Bulldoze and Pin Missile, along with its 2-stat Iron Head and Power Whip. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, hey, Travis, isn't Ferrothorn really slow? Yeah, but after 2 rock polishes, it is faster than Mega Alakazam, which is the fastest thing drafted. So if I set up 2 rock polishes, I think Ferrothorn can sweep teams. And if I want to, I can even go with a special Ferrothorn set. If I set up Sunny Day, I can go Sunny Day and Solar Beam and Flash Cannon and HP Fire. HP Fire, a Life Orb HP Fire Ferrothorn can kill a max HP, max special defense Assault Vest Kartana in the sun. So that is something not to sleep on. Ferrothorn is an incredible setup sweeper, and I plan to use it accordingly. So with my first 2 picks, I have things that have utility, can set up and sweep. I wanted something that kind of meshed well with those 2. What would be used in tandem with the Electric Surge Tapu Koko and the 4 times weak Ferrothorn, and that would be Pelipper. Pelipper gives me a rain team, and what do all rain teams usually have? They usually have Tornadus. They usually have Politoed. But what's better than both of those 2 combined? That would be Pelipper. Pelipper not only gives me the rain, not only gives me a ground immunity, but it gives me 100% hurricanes. It gives me priority with quick attack. It gives me something that can set up the rain, is a flying type, and isn't weak to ice. It has cool coverage and Twister and Blizzard and Gunk Shot. And you want to bring the Gastrodon? Hey Gastrodon, eat the Seed Bomb. It is a better Tornadus, and that is why I felt it meshes well with my first picks. Now that I have a nice offensive mon, a nice rain mon, a nice utility mon, I wanted a little bit more bulk. In my 4th pick, I decided to choose Mamoswine. Mamoswine gives me the bulk I needed. It gives me 110 HP with thick fat. It also has access to Curse and Amnesia. So I can run a Curse, Amnesia, Rest set with Earthquake or Icicle Spear or Icicle Crash, whatever. It also gives me another mon that has access to screens and rocks, and I can roar, so it can be a phaser. Just set up my hazards, set up my screens, and start roaring things around. It was a nice support mon with a fantastic typing. My first 4 picks, as you can see, this was just me going with the flow. What do I feel like using? What do I feel like using? Adding input from Bill, adding input from Chi. Kelly ran a rain team last season, and that's why I got his input on what would be good on a rain team. Now, I know most teams don't usually run Mammoth Swine on a rain team, but I felt with its bulk and with its utility, it was too good to pass up on. It also gave me a ground type, which helps that Pelipper out, and Tapu Koko's Electric Surge kind of cancels that out. So with my 5th pick, I wanted a mon that I was always afraid to face, always afraid to prep against, something that I've always wanted to use, and that was Scolipede. Scolipede has 2 great abilities in Swarm and Poison Point. If I run a Focus Sash set, you take me down to my Sash, I'm in Swarm range, I can hit you with a nice Mega Horn and do some big damage. Poison Point, if I run a defense set with like Iron Defense or Assault Vest, and you make contact with me, Poison Point, get me that poison without having to use Toxic. So unfortunately, we can't pass speed and another stat. A way around this would be running, Poison Point, Swarm, Swords Dance, Baton Pass into Ferrothorn, or Iron Defense into Tapu Koko, Iron Defense into Mammoth Swine. Or, to get around that in another way, would be to run the Speed Boost set and use Screech. Screech is a way to lower their defense by 2, which is essentially giving me a Swords Dance. Then Baton Pass that into a Ferrothorn or a Pelipper or a Mammoth Swine and do some damage. And I felt Scolipede is also one of the coolest designs. And you know what they say, the cooler the design, the better the Pokemon is. So that was my 5th pick, and I'm pretty happy with it. With my next pick, I have the hazards and a couple mons, but I don't have something to block the hazard. And I wanted to get another typing, and that would include fire. So I decided to go with my 6th pick, Alolan Marowak. Just by its design, it is one of the coolest Pokemon, and there's no arguing that. It has 3 abilities that are useful. In Rock Cat, if I want to run like a Double Edge or Flare Blitz without taking a recoil. It also has Curse Body, which it does Curse Body better than Gengar, so it does that well. Also has Lightning Rod, which we know what that does. No need to go into explanation with that. And just looking at its stats, not the best stats, but if you slap on a Life Orb or a Choice Band, it does damage. Do the calcs, Life Orb, Alolan Marowak takes lives. It gives me the hazards with Stealth Rock. It gives me a Will-O-Wisp. It gives me a Spin Blocker. Things that Alolan Marowak does that makes it worth the pick on my team. So right now I'm feeling I have a pretty complete team. What do I need? I need some things that can fill holes, maybe take advantage of the rain, and that is why with my 7th pick I chose Kingdra. Now Kingdra is rather underwhelming without the rain. So while they're prepping for Swift Swim Kingdra, I could bring maybe a Focus Energy set with Scope Lens, and I could bring a Dragon Dance set, I could bring a Choice Scarf set, a Spec set, whatever. Cool things that Kingdra can do. It also has things like Disable if something is Choice Banded or Choice Specs or Choice whatever. Disable it, now it's got to struggle. It also has Clear Smog, so if something's set up on me, I can just Clear Smog that away. And it also gives me another 4-time Fire Resist, which is cool with the Ferrothorn. It is a mon that from Gen 2 I loved. I love its design. It doesn't have the best coverage, but it does things well. So going to the 8th round, I was kind of getting off, what should I get, and she kind of put me in place and said, there are 2 things that your team would do really well with, and that would be, first of all, Hariyama. Hariyama was my next pick. It is my 8th round pick. It is another bulky offensive mon. It also has the thick fat ability, just like Mammoth Swine. So it's 2 things that don't give a damn about your ice attacks, don't give a damn about your fire attacks. It's a fighting type. It gets Belly Drum. It's like the fighting type Azumarill. I can run Belly Drum. I can run Bullet Punch, and anything slower than Hariyama can just take it out to close combat. It gets some good coverage. It also gets some good fighting stab in the forms of Power Up Punch or Focus Punch or Dynamic Punch or Mega Punch. That's not fighting, but it's still a cool punching move. With its speed, Hariyama's not very fast, but it makes up for that speed stat with a good attack and some good priority in the forms of Fake Out or Bullet Punch, Feint, or Vacuum Wave. All of these things make Hariyama worth the offensive pick. Looking at the team, I know I don't have the most bulky things. I have like Mammoth Swine and Pelipper and whatever. So Chi says, hey, you also need a speed tier. All of my speed tiers are pretty much covered except for one, and that would be like the 100 range. So with my 9th pick, I decided to draft Uxie. Uxie gives me another setup sweeper. It gives me a little bit more bulk. It has Calm Mind. It gives me Calm Mind and then Shadow Ball, Thunder with the Electric Surge. That'd be cool. Or I could go offensive and go like Power Up Punch and Fire Punch and all these other things and Headbutt. I'm also excited to try like a Yawn Dream Eater set. I think that would be cool. I've never seen that before. That'd be neat. Uxie is a mon that can be on any team. You need to fill a hole, throw in an Uxie. That is something that is, I think, well worth the amount of points I spent on it. big props to Chi for that. Now that gives me 9 mons and 1 mil left over. Now there was one mon that from the beginning, it was on my list. It was probably the only mons on the list, and that would be Spinnerack. Spinnerack for 1 mil. How can you beat that? It gives me webs, it gives me toxic spikes, it gives me entry hazards. Spinnerack, 1 mil. Can't beat it. So those are my 10 Pokemon that I will be entering this season with. Now, new in Gen 7 are the use of Z Crystals. There's a video all about that over on the PPL YouTube channel, so go check that out if you want to know more. But the gists are, you get 3 Z Crystal users. 2 of them have to be physical attacks only. 1 of them gets to be any Z move, barring, Omni boosts like Celebrate or Conversion or whatever. My Z Crystal users are Tapu Koko, with that fantastic coverage, like I said before, Scolipede, because sometimes I don't want to miss a Mega Horn, and Hariyama is my special Z user. Now, everybody else in the league, practically everybody else in the league, picked a Z Memento user, which you can't fault them for that. That is awesome. Now, I have a mon that has Memento in Uxie, but I decided to go with Hariyama. I wanted to be different from everybody else. I wanted to maybe try something cool and initiative, and I chose Hariyama. Z Belly Drum, Z Rain Dance, 2 things that I feel Hariyama can do well and help my team out. So there's my team, there's my draft, there's my Z Crystal users, and as you can see, our Week 1 opponent is Polymac and the West Coast Wingles. We are 1-1 against Polymac all time. He's got a nice team. I think we have a nice team. Hopefully that'll be a good match. Thanks for watching. If you are as excited as I am for the season and have any suggestions for nicknames or any sets you want me to bring, feel free to let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. Be sure to stay tuned for this season of the PPL.